Hi, I'm Stefan, the BMW DIY guy, and do you want to dramatically improve the sound of your BMW G80 M3 or M4? Let me show you how. All right, y'all, if you can't tell, I'm not in my home garage today. I am back at BIMTech PNW. I love these guys. I had an opportunity to use their lift today, and hey, I'm never gonna turn that down. You know, I love my quick jacks, but if I can put the car up in the air, it gives me the opportunity to give you a little bit of a better view, give you, so you can do the work yourself a little bit more clearly. Now, keep in mind, you can absolutely do this yourself with quick jacks or even a jack and jack stands at home. Now, I'm always gonna say this, if you're using jacks, always use jack stands, right? Be safe with your car up in the air. Now, this is really not a hard project, but you know how much I love my BMWs. One of the places that you can really make some improvement is the sound. And much like the F series, the new G series is really kind of in need of a really high quality mid-pipe. So we are looking at the equal length mid-pipe from Active Auto Work today. The install is not hard. I'm going to walk you through the whole process. I want to show you what this is going to be like, including a little bit of sound clips of before and after of what the car sounds like now, what it sounds like after. But let's go ahead and jump in, get started. All right, y'all, so the car's up in the air, and I just kind of want to give you a look all the way down the exhaust line because we're going to be pulling the entire center out of this as we go. So here is our existing back box. Here are the dimples that we're going to talk about just in a minute, but you can look all the way up. You can see the existing cross brace right here that we're going to remove in just a second. And then we go all the way up here to the top where your downpipes come down from your turbos, okay? Really, really straightforward. I just wanted to give you a complete view as we go because we're going to be pulling out this center section right here. All right, y'all, so when it comes time to cut your back box and cut the mid-pipe, now, I'm gonna have a little bit of kind of show and tell here. Now, because of this car, we already had cut exhaust for something else. I'm gonna show it with the cuts in place. And I know that's not as helpful as I normally would like, but it's really the best we can do in this case. Now, on your OEM pipe, you should be able to see a little dimple right here. And this is the exhaust end, the back end, this is the front end. There are dimples, 1, 2, 3. On the pipe you can no longer see, right? So there are middle dimples on both sides. 1, 2, 3. You're going to want to cut this at the middle dimple on both sides. Now you can see a little bit of the mark. What you can do is you grab a hose clamp, you just unwind it or open it, and you put it around the pipe right here at the middle dimple. Use a marker and then cut. Take the hose clamp off and then just cut right where your mark is, and that'll give you a nice clean cut the whole way around. Okay, so go ahead and cut on both sides. You can use a sawzall or a hackzall. Make sure to have a nice good new blade so you can cut through it nice and easily. Don't press too hard because you can scallop the blade and make an uneven cut. If you do end up, now this cut is really nice and clean. If you do end up with an uneven cut, you can use a metal file, take off any burrs or any little bits of scrap metal if need be. Okay, so go ahead and cut your mid-pipe, and then we will take down the mid-pipe, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, y'all, so go ahead. After you make your cuts now, if you notice, I've already pulled the cross brace off. There's a whole series of 13mm bolts on both sides. There's 1, 2, 3 on each side, so go ahead and just drop those and take it down. And then when we look up here towards the top, now BMW has done something amazing in comparison to some of the previous models. Everything is 13s all the way down, which is so nice. So you're going to need a 13mm deep socket for these posts, or a 13mm ratcheting wrench can work as well. So you're going to want to take the 13mm nuts off here and there and there. Okay. So now once you get through this, keep in mind an extra set of hands or a transmission jack if you're on a full lift like this will help significantly, because once you pull those nuts on the ends here, the ends will be loose, those still on the posts, and it'll be cut down here on this side. So the only thing that's going to be keeping it in place is your mid-body hangers. So once you're done with that, you pull off those nuts, make those cuts, and then go ahead and pull off your mid-bodies here. You've got one here, and you've got one up a little bit deeper. It's a little bit hard to show right now. I'll work on an extension and get up and pull the nut, and then your mid-pipe will drop away. So I'm going to take the mid-pipe off, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, y'all, so as you can see the pipe is off. This looks really, really good. This is not a hard install whatsoever. So one thing to keep in mind is your gaskets up here at the top. Now, generally, since the G series are such new cars, your gaskets are in good shape and you don't need to replace them. If you want, you always can, these little silver gaskets, and I'll have the part numbers listed in the video description. But in this case, we're not going to replace them. But you can see the mid-pipe is off. We've come all the way down here and cut off here at the back box. That's all ready to go. So now what you're going to want to do is I've laid out the mid pipe here in the angle that it's going to go in. And you can see that there's the one hanger right there on this side that you're going to want to transfer. So go ahead and transfer the hanger off your existing mid pipes to that hanger right there. The hanger right here has a new mounting bracket, so you don't even transfer the hanger in that case. So this is going to be a really easy install. Then we'll talk about this little sleeve, the sleeve that we'll use to join all the pipes, but it's really coming along. So go ahead and hang the long pipe here because the bracket will hold it in place, put it over the ends of the posts. Now that one is not going to hang in place, so we're going to have to kind of piece it up all together. All right, y'all, so let's go ahead and talk through these last steps here a little bit because it's going to be a little difficult to show while hanging these pipes at the same time. But this is where you're going to take, you've got 4 of these clamps. Now I've put them nut down and to the inside on both of these because we're going to use these to secure the mid pipe in just a second. And you can see this is our longer pipe that comes down. I talked about hanging it off the down pipe on this end, and it's got the hanger right here that we've loosely secured with one of the nuts. Now we've got the shorter pipe right here that doesn't have a hanger on it. So here's our setup. So here's the mid pipe that we're going to move up. So the longer mid pipe has a hanger on it. So when we put this up, we're going to secure it with a hanger at this end, and then we will slide these clamps up. Just slide them up to help hold it into place, right? So that'll help hold that pipe in place. And then we'll do the same thing on this short mid pipe right here. We'll hang it off the down pipe. We'll have the clamp on it, and that will hold all of this all together, okay? So I'm actually gonna put the longer piece up first because that will hang itself because it's got the body hanger on it and we've got these ends on it. And then I'll put that mid pipe up. So that's what it'll look like when I'm done here in just a second. All right, y'all, so we talked about hanging the mid pipe. You can see it's all done. It's really straightforward. Once you get that middle hanger up here, you can use this to secure it in place. And then on either end down here at the back box, you just slide these sleeve style clamps on. I chose to have the bolts on the inside that seem to give me the most clearance away from the heat shield on either side. And they're easily accessible, as you can see. So you can just slide those all into place to get it all hung. You don't have to tighten them down at first, because it'll help you get the whole piece in place. Now you got quite a bit of room here on this new clamp, so if you need to adjust it all, you can see how I can slide up and down on this. And then of course you have your nuts here at the top coming down from your down pipes. So now in this case, everything is tightened down because it's good to go. So everything is hung up. I've checked at the top of the down pipes, my hangers, all of these sleeve clamps are now tight, including the one here in the middle, these 2 down here at the end. So that's all good to go. Now, you can hang your new crossbody brace or this plate that we took off. So Active Auto Work includes a new one that has a little bit of additional space on it, which is really nice. So those are those 3 bolts on each side. It should only go on one way. So go ahead and get that installed and I'll show you that, but we're almost done. All right, y'all, so all done, as you can tell, looks really, really good. Now make sure when you have this, the stiffening plate on or this crossbody brace on, that you do have enough clearance. Now, if you notice, one of the reasons why Active includes this is that it has this little bit of a dip where the OEM is flat and straight across. So make sure you've got good clearance here because the last thing you'd want is have any metal on metal. Now, keep in mind, any of these joints, make sure that they're tight. These sleeve connectors are good. Make sure to tighten them down really well. There is always the possibility over time that some of these may work loose a little bit, the exhaust may sag a little bit. Now it shouldn't, but vibration of driving and potholes and everything else. So if you have to, come and check it. If you did have something that moved a little bit and you need to check it, that's not a big deal. It's just a matter of coming back in and adjusting. But in general, if everything's hung straight and is down tight, you should have no issue moving forward of any kind. So everything's installed, looks really, really good. I do love these Active ELs. These are fantastic, and this pulls out all of those mid-body resonators because, the G80s have these 2 mid-body resonators, not anymore. So I'm really excited. Let's get this on the ground and hear what this sounds like. All right, y'all, so all done as you can tell. Man, that sounds good. That is such a huge difference over stock. I can't even begin to tell you the difference that that makes. There is a whole new level of, like, the whole octave of the exhaust is lower. You know, there's a lot more growl when you're in sport mode and your valves are open. What a cool setup. So, and the install, as you can tell, really isn't hard. I mean, really the hardest thing to do is just maybe an extra set of hands when you take down your existing exhaust, and then also when you're putting it back up, extra set of hands. You know, and if you use the hose clamp trick, cutting the pipes isn't hard. Just it takes a few simple tools. I strongly suggest you make this change in your G80, so that's your M3 or M4. This is something I run active on my M2, and I love it every single day. So hey, thank you so much to Active for making such a fantastic product. I love installing their stuff. It is really great and sounds even better. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please make sure to click like and subscribe. It honestly makes a difference to my channel. It just takes a second, and I would really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next project.